My wife has advanced secondary progressive multiple sclerosis. Because of that, she's not able to move her arms or her legs or walk. So everything has to be done for her. So that's feeding, washing, drinking, everything. So she's reliant on other people to do everything for her. In addition to that, she's got a form of dementia, which comes with MS. So that manifests itself in various strange ways, some difficult behaviours and conversations. So to deal with that, and it fluctuates a lot, even during the course of the day. Communication is difficult as well. Speech is not very good. That isn't help when she's trying to express things which are a bit strange and not very sensible. So communication is quite difficult. So a few challenges in all of those respects. So physical and sort of mental, if you like, issues that need to be dealt with for her. I think, and how it impacts on my life and what I'm able to do, and our relationship as well. All of those things are quite difficult. I think I've found for me that what I need is a chance to get away from it all, to do something that I enjoy, something I like. It completely takes me away from the caring role, and I just sort of put that to one side, forget about it. So as it happens, I enjoy sports and activity like that, and that's a very good way of having a break from caring. Your mind is completely on what you're doing, not other things that are happening in the home. So that's been important to me, and actually arranging for breaks, proper respite to actually get away and go somewhere else is important. So and arranging that and finding suitable ways of doing that has been a difficulty over time. I think as well, there's a whole admin stuff that comes with caring as well. Everything you have to do, not just for your life, but for the life of the other person as well. And that can be, quite small things, or it can be quite big things, but, making sure they've got enough medication, dealing with social services, whatever it might be, you're sort of doubling up on that and having to do that. And when things go wrong, like this morning, the leg of the wheelchair broke, and having to be the person that fixes that, knowing it's all down to you. So I think it's all down to you. I think that's a big thing. I think as well, negotiating the system that exists and having people that actually have some understanding of what you're going through is sometimes it's a difficulty. When it's good, it's great. But actually having somebody who appreciates or has some sense of what's happening is important. And that can, again, be quite small. Someone says they'll do a referral, and they actually do it, and it happens. And that sort of small things like that are important. Feel like you're being understood as well, and that people can understand where you're coming from and where the difficulties might be, not just for the person who's unwell, but also from a carer's perspective as well. The sort of feelings of guilt when you want to go off and pursue your own interests, and how do you balance that with looking after the person that you're caring for. Now I know it's important for me to have a break, but how much, how often, how frequently is anybody judging you as to how much time you have away from the person you're caring for? So I find that is a challenge, and I also sometimes feel guilty because I don't feel guilty as well about leaving my wife in the hands of other people, even though I've done everything I can to make sure things are going to work out smoothly. So that's something that I grapple with from time to time. And people say to you, "Oh, you need to look after yourself. You need to look after." I hear that an awful lot, but what does that actually mean? And are you going to help me with that? Well, no, it comes down to the carer to organise it and to work out what the balance is between being with the person you're caring for and taking time for yourself. And I find that is a difficulty that I go through and still do. What difficulties have I encountered as a carer? I suppose there is a general sense of your horizons being limited. So the life that you thought you might have at my age is not happening, is not going to happen. So there is a limiting of horizons, and you have to, I think, try to tell yourself or learn how to appreciate what you can do and not think about what you can't do. So that has been quite a difficult thing for me, wanting to do my own thing and not being able to. And I guess as well, the whole relationship thing between two people has been difficult and can be difficult. There's a lot of frustration. I sometimes think that being a carer has actually brought out the worst in me. Some people only see the best, but I think actually it's brought out the worst in me. So, and it's difficult to maintain patience, I find, and not get frustrated with the situation from time to time, and that obviously is quite corrosive. So maintaining a sort of positive mindset, I think, is quite a difficulty. I think as well, maintaining friendships and relationships is difficult because Lida, my wife, is so limited in what she can do. Then it makes it difficult for outings and friends to engage. It has to be quite a limited level of activity, and because her communication is so poor, I think that puts people off, to be honest. So, and making new friendships, very, very, very difficult. So not to say we don't have friends and people who seem to care for us, which is great, and family are good as well. But that is a limiting factor. I've also been able to combine caring with working. I work half of the year, so I'm very fortunate with my employer, very flexible. So that's great, and allows me to sort of choose when I work and when I don't work. So that's really good. But actually juggling that with caring is an ongoing challenge, and finding the right carer support as well is another challenge. We get direct payments, which is great, but then it's down to you to find the care agency, find the right people, work out how to do it. And at times I've been thinking, well, I don't know what I'm going to do next because various things have changed. Carers have dropped out. Where do we go next? Am I going to be able to carry on working? Am I going to get any support at all? And all this kind of thing. So that is, those are some of the difficulties that I've encountered. I do appreciate, though, it's very different for different people. Everyone has their own story to tell. So that's just my experience has been those difficulties. But equally, there's a lot of good things as well, a lot of positive things when things do work out well, when people support you. You have to be very grateful for that. Important things in supporting me, I think, are having the opportunity for a bit of respite, for a bit of time away, whether that's on a regular weekly thing or whether it's for a sort of one-off break. So actually having that as a time away from the home, time away from caring responsibilities, I think I'd put that as the number one thing for me, to know that's in place, or something's coming up. You can keep going through the bad times thinking, oh, well, yeah, in a few weeks I am going to have a bit. So I think that's incredibly important for me, and I'm sure it is for other people, and schemes that support that are great. Finding suitable places for respite, that is an important thing as well, and actually arranging it, because again, that does come down to me to arrange it all as well. But that's the important thing. I think it's also important to me to have people that empathise, that do understand what you're going through. So contact with things like the MS nurse who's got some understanding. Just to talk about things is important from time to time. So I think those are two important things to support me. The Carer Support East Kent sort of came into my consciousness perhaps a little bit down the line in terms of my journey as a carer. So I've had needs assessment done, but by the time I had that done, I was pretty well acquainted with everything. So there wasn't much that was new. I suppose the benefit of it was to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So that was a sort of a positive in a sort of negative way, if you like. So I can't say that the needs assessment sort of completely changed my life, but I've had it and I'm satisfied. I'm not missing anything that was important. And I know Carer Support East Kent runs a lot of support groups and that kind of thing, which I personally have shied away from, because I would rather do, if I've got time to myself, I'd rather do something completely different, something non-carer related. And I realise for other people, support groups are great and they really thrive and enjoy that sort of thing, and they're really beneficial. But I don't think it's for me, given, you know, scarce time. I'd rather be riding my bike or doing something else than sort of chatting to other carers. So that's not really really for me. And I suppose with Carer Support East Kent, I know they're there. I know they're there if I need them. And so if I get stuck at some point, then I think that's a place that I could turn to for advice and support. Carer Support East Kent has a carer advisory group, and that's a small group of carers of which I am a part. I'm quite proud to be a part, to be honest. And the Carer Advisory Group is has a direct line into the senior leadership of Carer Support East Kent. And we were able to give feedback sort of formally and sort of anecdotally about things that we're facing, and give feedback on services that are proposed by Carer Support East Kent, or initiatives that have been taken, projects they're about to run, and this kind of thing. So it's quite a direct interaction between carers on the ground and the senior leadership of Carer Support East Kent. So I think it's a very valuable sounding board, if you like, for those that are sort of involved in delivering the services and fundraising and all that sort of stuff, and setting up programs, to hear direct from carers themselves, who are sort of turning their minds to that sort of thing. So I think it's a very valuable thing. It would be great if there are more carers that join the Carer Advisory Group, because I think what I've come to realise is just how many different situations there are. And so my situation is for me, but other people have very different experiences of their caring role. So it'd be great to have a broader spectrum of opinion within the Carer Advisory Group. So I'm really pleased to be part of that, and hope that can continue. And I think it's been especially valuable because it's a direct feed into the senior leaders within the organisation, and they clearly do take what we say seriously and very respectfully as well. So it's a very useful, I think, tool. And so I joined because I thought that I might have something to say, and that I think I have a perspective as a male carer, and what I've discovered is that male carers are quite unrepresented within both Carer Support East Kent staff, and also within the Carer Advisory Group. So I have a slightly different perspective on certain things, perhaps, and that view is taken on board. And so, I hope that we might be able to influence things in a positive way, and it takes time for that to build up. But I do feel that we're sort of at a central to the way that the whole organisation runs. I'd like to do more, but within the constraints of what we have, I think we do quite a lot in terms of trying to move things forward and make things better for all carers. And that would be what motivates me. How can we make things better for all carers? Because it's a difficult role. Sometimes it's quite a lonely role, and if we can make things better for them in even a small way, then that would be really good.